YouTube family, Miss Shirley, hey, here's your order ready to be shipped. Your Red Door fragrance lotion and your Pink Sugar fragrance oil. This is the other package I need to ship off this afternoon for our brother Eric. Sister Shirley, or Miss Shirley rather, your order is on the way. And also, I see that I got another order from Sister Honeycomb. Thank you so much, Sister Honeycomb, for being such a supporter of the channel. Look here, you all. This is over the last couple of days. Okay, and these orders right here, these orders right here, these are from you all. Because only my YouTube subscribers and the people that watch my channel know about this promotion. Now it could very well be someone who watches my channel ordered this Ralph Lauren shirt right here. This is a Ralph Lauren button-up that's sold for $19.99. Okay, it could very well be someone, you know, who watches my channel and clicked on the link down below and decided to you know, buy a shirt. But I know for certain these orders right here are coming from people who are watching my YouTube videos. So thank you all very much. Sister Honeycomb, I got your order. I'm going to be working on that. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, you all. I'll be working on those orders, those fragrance oil orders, after the holidays. Okay, because we're, you know, me and SAYNIA are leaving this evening. Okay, so really, what I'm trying to do is get these videos done before I leave. This video is chapter 5 of the Blue Bucket Chronicles, the story of how me and SAYNIA became a couple. So let's get into it, okay? Now here's the thing, you all. I did get a comment, and I understand. I did another video letting you all know. You know, I understand my, you know, the way that I do my videos. Sometimes I might, you know, start off in such a way, maybe promoting my businesses and promoting my products before I get into the video itself. But one thing that I've learned in my years of business, hold on a second, you all. I'm trying to get out of here and hold this bucket and hold this camera at the same time. One thing I've learned over my years of business, hold on a second, let me make sure I got everything. Okay, got my phone, got my wallet with my keys in it, my room key. Okay, one thing I've learned in my years of doing business is this. It's not always who you know. And a lot of people, they will just stick with that. When it comes to success in business, it's all about who you know. That's valid. But here's something that I've learned that I think is even more valid. It's not always who you know, but who knows you. That's something you might want to be aware of. It's not always who you know, but who knows you. And who knows what you can do for them. Because that's what it all boils down to. People want to know, what can you do for me? And as what I do is concerned, I sell fragrance products. Fragrance oils, lotions, incense. Those are all fragrance products. And like I've said before, who don't want to smell good? Who doesn't want to smell good? And the thing is this, I sell smell goods. How y'all like the way I put that? I sell smell goods. So sometimes I'm going to promote that. When I start these videos or videos in general, why not? Right? Why not? Okay, so let's get to this video. In chapter 4, I did chapter 4 last night. I think I'm going to do this video over here under the shade. Just going to put the bucket right here. I did chapter 4 last night, and in chapter 4 you all got to hear about how me and Sharon, the sassy Sagittarius, as Sister Nirvana calls her, you all got to hear how we had a little altercation, early on in our relationship, where she told me to kiss her ass, when I made a comment about a mop that she had purchased. And, it turned into an argument, and I had to assert myself. That's really what it came down to. I had to assert myself as the man in the relationship. Now this is what I learned. This is what I learned during that time of being in that relationship with Sharon that I had really never experienced before. I don't think I've ever experienced anything like that. But I learned that was pretty much what you might call a shit test. A shit test in the what they call the manosphere, the red pill, blue pill type of talk. How women treat men. That what I experienced could have been considered a shit test. She was trying to test me. She was trying to see how far she could go, what she could get away with. Leave a comment down below, because I know it's a lot of women that are watching my videos and are subscribed to my channel, okay? And some of y'all won't admit to this, you know, but I do believe that women test men. You test the man to see where he is, see how he is. What can you get away with? What kind of boundaries are he gonna is he going to set for you and the relationship? And in hindsight, that's what I began to realize. That's what that was. Okay? The problem here is this. So many women don't realize how you destroy your relationships with those shit tests before the relationship even gets started. Because the man don't forget. He's not going to forget. You know? And I'm just talking here. I'm not trying to get into relationship, advice or anything. I'm just telling the story of what I've been through. Men don't forget. Okay? We keep track of what you're doing and how you do it. Okay? And in this situation, that's exactly what I did. Okay? So let's get to the story. Once we got past that, I believe Sharon understood where she could go with me. Okay? And I understood the level of disrespect she was willing to use. Okay? The thing is, I think she understood she had a good man. I think she understood, okay, Martin's a good guy. And I'm not trying to toot my horn and put feathers in my hat, but I think she realized, okay, this is a good guy. Okay, he's doing stuff. At the time, like I said, I had my own business that I operated out of my home in the rooming house. I actually had a barbershop set up. I was operating my eBay business at the time. I've been doing eBay for 19 years now. I've been selling clothes on eBay for 19 years. And I think at the time, I might have been selling fragrance oils for maybe 5 years as the oil king. Okay? So she could see, okay, this guy, he works for himself. He's managing his businesses. But also, he is enjoying the fruits of his labor through travel. Okay? Y'all with me? So once again, I don't think she thought she was dealing with some slouch. This man was holding his own. But also, she knew Martin can pick up and go home anytime he wanted to. Okay? Hang on to that. It's going to come back up. Hang on to that. I believe she knew, okay, yeah, although he's comfortable, staying here in my house, and I would say within a week or two of us kind of dealing with each other, she gave me a key. She gave me a key to her house. So I think she always knew in the back of her head, in the back of her mind, Martin can pick up and leave at any time he wants. He can just go back home to the rooming house. So she was a little bit more careful, I can tell. And like I said, I was aware of what level she would go to. Okay, but we got past that. Okay? Every year, I would say maybe 4 or 5 years prior to that, I made it a point to be in Atlantic City for New Year's Eve. That's something I still do. Except for last year. Last year, me and SAYNIA was in Vegas for New Year's Eve, and then we flew to Atlantic City to be in Atlantic City for New Year's Day. You all might have seen the videos. They're way down, way down. But every year I made a plan to go to Atlantic City for New Year's Eve. And I let her know early on that, hey, look, I'm going to be going to, I go to Atlantic City every year for New Year's Eve. So, if you want to go, this is what we need to put together. At the time, I like to stay at the Borgata for New Year's Eve. And the room rate for New Year's Eve at the Borgata back then, and probably still now, it was $700. If you wanted a room at the Borgata for New Year's Eve, it was going to be $700. And I told her that. I said, hey, I'm gonna be staying at the Borgata for New Year's Eve. If you want to go, this is what it's gonna cost, and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. $700? I ain't spending no $700 to stay in no hotel for New Year's Eve. I said, well, I mean, that's what I do. So here's what we can do. If you want to come along, being that you work in a bakery, at a grocery store, and you have been trained at Johnson Wales at cooking and baking, you can do that for yourself. Y'all, like I always say, I'm all about creating your own business, your own personal business. Okay? So I told her, I said, look here, you can start selling cake slices right on campus. And like I said, I was living in a rooming house that was located right next to the cafeteria. Right next to the cafeteria. So there was this little alleyway that went right past the rooming house that I was living in, that, you could go to the cafeteria. I said, look here, make some cakes, make some slices, and we can set up a table right outside of the rooming house where I live. We can set up a table, and you can start selling cake slices. I said, these kids will buy it. She was skeptical. She was skeptical at first. I used to call Sharon ye of little faith. That was something I would say, when I would try to encourage her and tell her, hey, look, we can do this and we can do that. She was always doubting. And I would say, you're being a ye of little faith right now. Trust in what you know. So she did it. She did it. And once again, we had enough time to raise the money to be able to afford to book a room at the Borgata for New Year's Eve. And she made some cakes, and she was a good cook and baker. Okay, and we're going to get more into that. Okay, she would make carrot cake, red velvet cake, chocolate cake, any kind of cake you can mention, she would make it. And right outside the rooming house, in that alleyway, We set up a table, and as those Hampton University students was walking past, they would say, "Oh, what you got? What you got?" And she was like, "I got, cake slices." And they were like, "Oh, I'm going to get one when I come back from the cafeteria." I think she started off selling the cake slices for $4. And she was selling out. She was selling out. Every day. She would make cakes, come out. And the thing is, she was still working at the grocery store, but she would get off work at the grocery store, gather up her cakes, come out to the rooming house where I lived, her and her daughter, set up a table, and I would probably be done cutting hair for the day. So I'd come down and kind of help out and this, that, and the other. But she would set up a table, and these kids would buy everything she had to sell. It got to the point she was making $100 a day. Now, any business, you get to the point where you're making $100 a day, you're doing something right. You're doing something good. And she began to believe. But I already knew. I said, look, if you do this, but the main goal was this, and I'm just being straight up with you all. The main goal was this, to get her to the point where she was working for herself. So we both would be working for ourselves. And when it came time to travel, when it came time to go somewhere, we ain't got to ask nobody. Well, I didn't have to ask nobody anyway, because I was already working for myself. But whenever I said, hey, look, I'm taking a trip, I'm going here, I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing that, she had to put in for it. She had to, ask for time off and all that. I ain't got time for that. When I'm ready to go, I'm ready to go. When I'm ready to book a plane, a train, or a bus and go, I'm ready to go. I ain't sitting around here waiting on your manager to decide whether you can take time off. No, I ain't got time for that. So I was trying to get her to my status. And it was the cake slices. It was the cake slices that was going to get her there. But also, if she's working for herself and I'm working for myself, I can help her with her cake business, which did evolve into a food business. Hang on, y'all, hang on. It evolved into a food business. But also, she could help me with my businesses, help me with my eBay, help me process the clothes so I can load them up to eBay. Help me with the fragrance oils, bottling up the fragrance oils. In my mind, we could work together. And she gave me the impression. That, okay, I'm with it. Okay, all right, cool. We can do this. I saw it immediately. She got to the point she was making $100+ a day selling cakes. And we're talking about going to the grocery store, buying a box of Duncan Hines, making a cake and cutting it into 4 pieces and selling those pieces of cake for $5. You only got to sell 20 slices to gross $100. So what happened was she became independent real quick. So when I was saying, hey, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Oh, she didn't have time for that. She didn't have time for that. And she kind of got the name of Cake Lady. The students start calling her Cake Lady. Okay? So it was almost a thing of, Martin, I don't need you now. I got this. But you fail to realize you're coming to my home to sell your cakes on the campus of Hampton University. But she started giving me this attitude of, Martin, I don't need you. I got this. So if I ask for help with my business ventures, I ain't got time for that. I got to make cakes. And the thing is, she never respected the business that I was doing. She didn't respect the eBay business. It was this thing of selling used clothes online. Or she really didn't respect the oil business. Oh, that's just fragrance oil. But the thing is, I know the potential of small things. Here's another biblical scripture. Despise not the day of small beginnings. Despise not the small things. Despise not the small things. Trees start as little seeds. Trees start as little seeds. So that's where we had come to. And I began to understand who I was dealing with. But once again, I stayed with her primarily because I eventually encouraged her to leave her job. I encouraged her to leave her job. And we wound up staying at the Borgata for New Year's Eve 2020. Hang on, y'all. We wound up staying at the Borgata for New Year's Eve 2020. The problem was, okay, that's a trash truck doing the trash over there at the Taco Bell. The thing was, the night of New Year's Eve, I was so sick, I thought I was gonna die. I was so sick. I had pain in my chest. I was coughing. And I was weak like I had never been before. Once again, New Year's Eve 2020. No one had ever heard of COVID. No one had ever, well, I ain't gonna say no one. There are some people that knew what it was. And I'm gonna get ready to end this video. Because we got people working. Grab the blue bucket. Yeah, COVID was, for all intents and purposes, was unheard of. But I believe I was one of those first people that had it. We just didn't know what it was. But I can honestly say, when the ball dropped in New York City, I was out cold. Because I was sick like I had never been sick before. All right. So, on that note, this is chapter 5 Chapter 5, because we're about to go into the effects. We're about to go into the effects the pandemic. I'm sorry, I'm getting my key. I got my key. We're about to go into the effects the pandemic had on our relationship. This is where things start to heat up. Okay? So, if you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or positive or constructive comments, leave them down below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. I want to thank you all for watching this video. Thank you for clicking on and tuning in. Once I catch my breath, I'm going to get started with chapter number 6. So stay tuned. Be blessed and be a blessing.